Hey everyone, Crazy Jimmy here with another video. Today I'm going to show some vinyl finds, but also some of them are recent, some of them are not so recent. Some of them I've had in my collection for a while, but we're going to focus this time on some really obscure, kind of rare 90s bands and 90s vinyl. And I kind of have like 4 tiers for obscurity. So I've got Group A, which is not so obscure, like your alternative bands like Pearl Jam and Oasis. So that's like Group A or Tier 1. These that I'm going to be showing you are more from Group 2 or Group B or Tier 2, if you want to call it that, which are a little more obscure. So not your Suedes of the worlds, not your Pearl Jams, not your Jane's Addictions, or Flaming Lips. Those all belong in Group A. This is going to be more Group B. And then there's like a third group, Group C, which is even more obscure, which is like your super indie, obscure, homemade, real people type of artists from the 90s, shall we say. So these are going to be primarily from Group B. Some of them might be borderline Group A, and some of them might be borderline Group C. So, but I think they're all Group B. So why don't we get right into it? Let's start with first one here. I'm going to show is Thinking Feller Union, what is it, 242? 282, I always screw that up. In the Shrink, Lovelyville. One of my favorites from them. Like, they've got quite a few favorites of mine, but, this one certainly is up there. Love the cover on this. This was released, I want to say, in 91. Yep, 1991. This is an original pressing on Matador Records, and let's show you what that looks like here. There's that side, but this is the cool side right there. So pretty neat label. Best way to describe Thinking Fellers is, it's like a 90s Captain Beefheart, but not as out there as Captain Beefheart, but definitely out there for sure. I'd probably throw this in mix with like Captain Beefheart and Polvo kind of mixed together. Definitely some weirdness going on. Very indie, very catchy though. Beefheart took a lot more effort to like get into than this does. So it's not 100% Beefheart by all means. But really love this. They even have a little Pixies in there too for good measure. So this is Lovelyville, Thinking Fellers Union, Thinking Fellers Union Local 282, Lovelyville. Check their discography out though. They really do have a lot of great albums in their discography, and this is just one of several. What a great cover too, by the way. So check that out. Definitely Group B, by the way. Thinking Fellers. Some might consider on the borderline of Group C, but I think they fit firmly in Group B. Next up, another Group B for sure is Brainiac, a favorite of mine from the 90s. This one here was released, I want to say, in 94. This is definitely my favorite from them. Bonsai Superstar is the name of it. This is an original pressing on, I think it's on Grass Records. And then they kind of moved to Touch and Go as they got more popular. There you go. They only released this on black vinyl and did one pressing of it back in the day. There was a repress of this, but and they only pressed 500 of them. But there's some information I have on that repress that I promised a few diehard Brainiac fans that I would never reveal, so I'm not going to reveal it. But let's just say that this is the one you want. this original pressing here from '94. Sounds fantastic. I've heard the repress as well, and this to me is slightly better. So if you like Devo, by the way, this is like a more manic, heavier Devo, throwing a little bit of like industrial rhythms in there too. Really such a shame too, this band was cut short. I think they were signed to like Interscope, and were set to release like the biggest album of their career in 1997. But unfortunately, the lead singer and songwriter Tim Taylor, who wrote the majority of the music and was the lead singer and keyboardist and guitarist, along with John Schermershall from Enon, who went on to form Enon. Tim Taylor passed away in a car accident. Super sad. This band was so promising. I mean, after they released that Touch and Go album, Hissing Prigs, that came after this one, and then they released Electroshock EP, you could just see they were going in a direction that was just insane. Like, super original band. Yes, there's some Devo in here, but it's very original. No one was doing what they were doing in the early 90s, so check out Brainiac. All right, next up is a band from, I think they're from California, but this was pressed in Norway, though. This is Oranger, and the name of the album is Doorway to Norway. Go figure. And if you like your 90s music to be completely psychedelic and derivative and retro, then you will absolutely die for this Oranger album, Doorway to Norway. Super psychedelic, really retro. You listen to this and you'll think you're listening to a late 60s pop psych album that has some really good guitar work in it as well. Great effects. Let me show you the sleeve too. The sleeve is just super cool. I love everything Oranger's done. I have some 7 inches from them. There's a few other full-length albums they did as well, but I mean, I found this one here to be their very best. What year was this pressed? I don't remember. I want to say the 90s, early 90s, maybe mid 90s, but Oranger, Doorway to Norway on white vinyl. I think they only pressed maybe 500 of these, maybe less. So certainly not a lot of them out there, but if you can pick one up for a good price, you will really dig this if you're into like, psych, done the 90s way. Oranger. So check that out. Next up, I think I saw Dom show one of these, but Bill Fox from Ohio, one of my faves. I've got everything Bill Fox has ever done on vinyl, and I think I have a cassette or two and some CDs from him. But this was his band with his brother, his young brother who played the drums. Bill Fox and Tom Fox, and then Ken Hall. And there they are. This is the first EP they released. I don't even think I opened this yet. I've had this EP for years and years and years. This was released in 1985. Yeah, it's sealed. No point in... So this was released in 1985 on this private press label, Herb Jackson Records. And total, replacement. If you like the replacements, but I think the hooks are better than the replacements on this. This is like a poppier, more rocked out replacements. Definitely, they play at punk speed, but the melodies are pop rooted. So, if that makes sense. So, a more pop rooted replacements. Definitely power pop for sure, but heavier than what you're thinking. So, but really killer stuff. This is their first EP. Not a duffer on it. Everything is great on this. For Almost Ever by the Mice. And then Scooter is their full-length album here. And there's a little Scooter. This was, I think, 1987. I want to say. But the Mice, Scooter. killer replacements-esque power pop with really good melodies, really good vocals, and like these Keith Moon drumming. The Keith Moon drumming is crazy. He's like this frantic drumming. It's so cool. But check out the mice. Those are kind of costly. I don't think they've ever been repressed, but well worth your dollars if you can find them. Next up, I want to show you a couple from Jellyfish. This is their second album. Their first one was Belly Button, and this is their second. So I've got an original pressing, pressed in 1993, and this was pressed overseas only. So there was no European, no USA release. And then this is cut from the Analog Master from Omnivore. I think this is Omnivore. Yes, Omnivore. This is the purple rejected pressing. Only 25 of these exist. And let me show you that. For some reason, they didn't like how it came out. I love it. It sounds fantastic. And so does the original, by the way. But this purple marble, only 25 were pressed back in 2012 for the anniversary. Or is it 2013 maybe? For their 20th anniversary. And it sounds great as well. Cut from the original Analog Master tape. I love the original too. I think they both sound great in their own way. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with this press. So it was just rejected because they didn't like. They wanted to tweak some of the mastering on it, I guess. But love this purple one. Of course, they repressed it again in 2023 for the 30th anniversary. So you can get it rather inexpensive now. I think about $40 or $50 you can get this landmark album. Recommended if you like the Beach Boys Smile era mixed with Queen, mixed with ELO. So kind of those three bands. And of course the Beatles. Got to throw the Beatles in there. And you have Spilt Milk by Jellyfish. Way out of the step for the times in 93. They were the only ones doing this kind of music back then. And it kind of got ignored, which is unfortunate because this is in my top 100 of all time. There's not a single bad song on it. And some of these songs are so timeless. So timeless. Some of it's childlike as well, so it'll bring back some, even if you didn't even hear it back when you were, during your childhood, it will bring you back to your childhood, if that makes sense. Sesame Street-esque with some of the melodies. It's just really good. It's just really good. They were so meticulous with this. I think they took like a year to record it. So they really labored over every piece of this. And the band at the time was Andy Sturmer, Roger Joseph, Manning Jr., and I think Tim Taylor was there as well. And I believe T-Bone Woke or something, one of those old-fashioned bassists from the day, T-Bone, is also playing on this. So you can hear some of his melodic bass lines on this as well. So Jellyfish, Spilt Milk. Couple more for you. Definitely a Group B. The Lilies, eccsame, the Photon Band. What an album this was. This was released, I think, in 91 or 92. And let me tell you, the Lilies had a Pink Floyd fascination. You can even tell by the cover. This is an original pressing in the shrink. Really hard to come by. I think they only pressed like 500 of these total. This is 90s vinyl we're talking about, so they just didn't press many of these. Put that up there. So here's the back here. And when I say this is like side 2 of Metal mixed with like Pink Floyd's probably their second album, was it Clouds, Obscured Clouds or something. But very, very chill, very mellow, a little bit of kraut with this as well. A lot of synthesizer work, very spacey, very slow and languid, turtle slow. The music, you can almost call it slowcore, but it's not. Really a killer album. I don't know how else to explain it. This is Kurt Heasley. He's the mastermind behind it, but Harold Evans also played on this, and he also he was the leader of the band Pool from the early '90s on spinArt. The Lilies is a spinArt band as well. God bless spinArt. spinArt. Back in the day, spinArt was the type of label that you could just, you don't even have to hear the record. You don't even have to hear a song from it. You know anything that was put out in spinArt is going to be good. It's going to have hooks and is going to be really diverse but good. So spinArt was one of those go-to labels that I went to quite often. I probably have most of their catalog here, to be quite honest. So you're talking to a huge fan of spinArt. But the Lilies, eccsame the Photon Band, just a killer early 90s album, especially if you're into like space rock and all that goodness. All right, let's finish up with this last one. And this is actually not a 90s. This is was recorded in the late 90s, but it was released in 2001. Super Furry Animals, Rings Around the World. This is an original pressing. And what makes this so fantastic is, yes, it's a Group B for sure, but it's also super retro. This will remind you of the very best of ELO and what they were doing. And let me just show you the inside of this cover. Is so cool. Look at that. So ELO, isn't it? Electric Light Orchestra here. This is probably my favorite Super Furry album for sure. Although I like a lot of the stuff they released before and after this. So you really can't go wrong with any of it. But this one here will bring you back to the 70s the most, especially what ELO was doing in the 70s. But they add a little techno to what ELO is doing as well. So there's some real dubbed out songs on here, but they're super melodic. So you really can't go wrong. And this original release too had side C, where you actually played side C from the inside out. So you have to drop the stylus on the inside of the dead wax near the label for it to play, and then you have to be ready for it before it falls off the edge. So really kind of a crazy gimmick, but great stuff. Super Furry Animals, Rings Around the World. So that's it for today. I just wanted to show you some alternative stuff mostly from the 90s. Rare Group B, we'll call it Group B stuff. Bands that you don't always hear about, bands that were not super popular back in the day, but made their mark. And some of them are still going today. So, but hey, thanks for watching. Really appreciate you guys. More content to come. Please hit subscribe. Please comment below. Thanks for watching.